rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll read the minutes from the previous meeting. Those present were Fred Farley, John Pfeiffer, Toby Benz, Jody Price, Ken Van Hook. Others present were Sandy Emmert, Robin Cook, Aaron Colt, and Stu Savka. Andy gave his water and wastewater report in the streets, also his building commissioner report. Under old business, Stu from Triad Associates attended the meeting for the signing of the previously approved engineering agreement for the proposed water project. Ordinance 04-2015-01, an ordinance amending the Town of Atlanta's ordinance governing weeds and rank vegetation was unanimously passed, with Mrs. Price making the motion and Mr. Bench seconding. Another matter, a resident question regarding the ball diamonds. Dylan Baber asked the council if his softball team will practice at the field. The council and attorney explained that the property will not legally belong to the town until the quitclaim deed is signed and recorded, which will hopefully be by Friday.
It's not June 1st.
Should be May 1st, correct?
Correct.
May. The town cannot give permission nor prohibit anyone from using the ball diamonds at this time. After a brief debate, Mr. Baber relented and will revisit the matter when the property is deeded to the town. We had one order of new business, and the date was set for the townwide yard sales. They will be June the 6th this year. With no further business to discuss.
No, it's not June 6th.
It's not?
That's graduation. That's Tiffany. I think we said June. It's the next week, the 13th. Yeah, 13th.
13th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so we read these.
Yep. Good idea, Fred.
June the 13th.
All right, thank you.
With no further business to discuss, claims were signed and the meeting was adjourned. We'll note those two corrections in these minutes.
A motion to accept it.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Andy, if you'd like to give your report.
All right, underwater, the plant's treated 726,450 gallons of water since April 28th. Our average daily usage is 51,889. Filters were backwashed on May 4th, and we had 4 water leaks due to damage. They've been repaired. These resulted in a 20,000 gallon water loss. The May back T-test is complete. The April water report's complete, has been sent to IDEM. And our wastewater have been performing daily checks at the lift station, ponds, and the SSO during rain events. Sewer plant's closed and we are not discharging. Our weekly sewer samples are complete. The meters for the wastewater have been calibrated by B.L. Anderson, and as I suspected, the influent meter was wrong. It was previously set at 315 gallons a minute, and we are actually pumping 172. This will lower our daily flows by almost half. And then fluid waste cleaned our effluent channel and the lift station. We also cleaned the sewers from DeLulo's to the lift station. The line behind the restaurant was almost completely blocked with fats, oils, and greases. I ran the line north on North Walnut towards the bar, and it was clean, so that eliminates trying to point the finger at the bar. And there's absolutely no doubt that our problem is being caused by the restaurant. To give you an idea, I figured it up today, and we're currently spending between $3,000 and $4,000 a year dealing with this. I spent $1,880 getting the lift station and the sewer cleaned. When I put, I need a bio block right now for the lift station. They're $500 a piece. Depending on the flows, bio block will last between 3 and 5 months. 5 months being the very outside of that. And my personal thing is, I know she's going to complain, I think we need to force her to put a grease trap on the entire building. She has a small grease trap that's on the dish area, but it doesn't cover all the sinks. And it's of such a nature, and the amount that's coming out of her place, you would almost have to clean it daily. I'm assuming it's still the same one that Steve May had when he started to put a restaurant in there, so it's a small one. But, I mean, this is burning us up. And this problem has started ever since that place opened, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I tell you, I tried to get some of the stuff out of the lift station. I can take you right now today. I've gone back and checked since we cleaned this. I can take you right over here to the manhole, the first manhole they hit, and it's got solids all up on the bench walls where that stuff is flowing in there. And I think she needs to have a trap on the entire building. I really do. She needs to get a hold of one of these companies that does it, put it in there, and they need to start servicing this thing, because we're paying to be her grease company.
We
And
all are.
that
Our
line,
rates
and
go
that
up.
line,
Yeah.
we use the big bullet to go down that line to start with. At about 800 pounds of pressure, and chunks were coming out. But when we got right behind the restaurant where that thing ties in, it stopped at 800 pounds. And when they cranked it up, and then, I mean, pieces like this big, once they busted through it, just flowing out of that thing. So then I ran, and the farther we got away, because it's got other tributaries coming into it and the flow's higher, it wasn't hideous all the way to the lift station, but down Walnut, all the way down to the manhole, because it comes out, heads west, hits Walnut, goes north, hits Meridian, goes down to the manhole by Denny Hayes, then it turns and goes back here by O'Malley's, and then makes a straight shot to the lift station. So the deeper we got and the farther we got, of course, just the cleaner it got for being dirty. But, that first like 3 blocks, I mean, it's just a wreck.
When you clean those up, is it reamed out, or is it chemically cleaned?
Jet.
Just
They use a
jet,
jet back.
just-
Yeah. I mean, we only use a cutter for roots. I mean, they've got different heads depending on the amount of pressure they use on the line. I mean, it'll clean it out. But we ran that line behind there from the manhole that's over there in the cross alley behind Spital's old house. We ran that thing 4 times before we got it totally clean. And see, what happens is, when you get all that stuff lining up in there and it sticks in there, people in their houses are flushing toilets and things like that. People's solids, there's little bits of toilet paper, little bits of turds, all that stuff gets stuck in there, and it starts hanging up, and it starts getting built up.
Well, I was just wondering if the line was completely
Well,
open, or
it was,
is it
oh no,
just
it had
partially
shrunk.
blocked?
The one behind there is, it's lined about that big, and
Yeah.
that head that they were using was about that big around, and when it got behind there, that head wouldn't go through. So that hole had to be smaller than the head of that jet, because it stopped when basically we got to the restaurant. So, I mean, I seriously, I think she needs to put a trap on the whole building myself.
What does our ordinance state? I know that it's not
I would have to read
permissible
it.
for them to discharge grease into the sanitary sewer system. But
Yeah.
if there's some language in there to where we can require them to do it, I say that we require that on a restaurant that's causing that kind of problem. This ain't the first time that we've had a grease problem in that.
Yeah, I've cleaned the line behind the restaurant before, but I haven't followed it the other way. The most I've done until this time here was behind the restaurant, and from that half a block section, like in front of my house on Walnut, going to the next manhole there at Meridian. That is as far as I took it. But then when I started checking those manholes, we just kept going and going and going, and I cleaned it the whole way because of everything it was in. I tried to get them out. It was too deep, and their jet was too strong when we cleaned the lift station. But I wanted to get one out and put it in the bag so I could show her after that builds up on the walls. But I mean, imagine there was one chunk of, they got broke off the wall when they first started cleaning. It was about the size of a football. You know, and I've tried talking to her about it before, and she says, we don't deep fry anything. And I'm like, you know, you got cream or butter in that Alfredo? I mean, you know, it's all those things. It's fats, it's oils, it's greases. You know, it's not just, you know, deep fryers. I mean, and we, you know, we've just, at least to my knowledge, we have never experienced these types of issues until now, until that opened. And I started out with a smaller block. They make two different styles. Had some slight success, but like I said, it just keeps growing. And you know, we're talking, you know, just in bio blocks. I mean, we're spending, you know, $1,500 a year just in blocks, and then just, you know, on top of whatever cleaning and maintenance that we have to do.
Would it be possible to video that line?
Yeah. I don't know if your camera records to a disc or not. Arcadia has a camera that we use from time to time. If I can't record from theirs, I mean, we might be able to get a price for fluid waste. I know they're going to be up here. They've still got some televising to do. We may be able to get a price from them to see it, but we can definitely take pictures of the manhole. I mean, you can,
I mean, I'm not disputing what you're saying at all. I just think that would be one more piece of evidence.
got it.
Well, it's a violation of an ordinance, and I just told Murray we can cite her for that. And at the end of the day, whether she wants to go get a building-wide trap or something, it's up to her to comply. So, and she's got to stop dumping that into our system because that's not permitted.
Well, and I think it's something we need to look at in our ordinance. I mean, you go to bigger municipalities than ours, anytime you do a restaurant, they make you trap the whole building.
Well, you don't want to trap the restrooms.
It's being,
You have to
well, I
separate
mean, the kitchen, I said
everything in the
I mean,
kitchen,
The
yeah.
kitchen,
Yeah.
the kitchen gets trapped, you know.
But you don't want the restroom to be trapped.
And the way this was set up, it was originally set up to be done that way. It's got one was never put in. It's got, the bathrooms are on the line and the kitchen comes out and goes over.
That's supposed to be, and they can put an outside trap on that
Right.
too, and put it outside so it's bigger. And perhaps even a 500 gallon, small, a 500 gallon septic tank, so, because if the water comes out warm, it's coming out, you know, the grease is still
Just been,
broken up and something, yeah, and then it gets out there and gets the cool ground at 55 degrees, and then all of a sudden it starts coagulating and builds up on the pipe. So, do you know if our ordinance can assess damages for stuff to the sewer? I think it can.
I think it does. I'd have to go look because
So we could theoretically send her a bill for the cleaning if we can show that.
it was $1,880 to clean the sewer and the lift station. I just
That
got
might
the bill.
make her wake up.
We broke it down. I mean, I subtracted out what we spent on the effluent channel. So it's just something we're gonna have to take action on there.
That's
And then I've got a request to place the house at 570 West 600 South on our sewer system. That's basically the house at the end of Broadway, the north end, across the county line. Alvarez used to own it, they sold it. And I don't see a problem with it once they pay a tap fee and then sign a liability waiver, you know, let them know that we're not gonna be responsible for that force line. They wanna put a small, Kip Bergman, I think, is gonna do the work, but they're gonna put a small ejector pit in with a 2-inch line, very similar to what we did at the house on the north side of the entrance to the subdivision. They did the same thing here about 2 years ago. Their septic system was failed, and they put in a grinder and shot to us. Because this house, they don't have any room for a septic system. The house has been condemned, they can't live in it. So this time it's sitting empty. It's on our water now. But basically they need to go from that house on the west side of Broadway to the first manhole in the first grass alley there. Core it, put a boot on it, and shoot into that. But if you guys don't have a problem with it, I'm gonna tell them, you know, they can fill out their, we got an application for sewer tap. Fill that out. Gives us, you know, sign a waiver on that. But they're not the only one. We've got other users on the north side of Tipton that are on our sewer.
I don't have any
If you're comfortable with it.
objections with it. We did a similar deal down in Arcadia, and the only thing was is the property owner had to, there's some language, it was a legal document written that we have on file that states that that is their personal forced main, because they ran quite a distance down in Arcadia to get to our system, and that the property owner would always be responsible to maintain it even if the deed transferred. And so far it's been fine, you know, as far as him dealing with it, but he wanted to sell a house years later. So he come and wanted the town to take over that, because he didn't think he'd get his house sold if he had to disclose that the new owners were gonna be responsible for this forced main run all the way down this in the county right away and all that to get to our system.
I haven't
But,
wheeled it
you
on,
know,
it's
if we
about
had some-
175 feet.
Yeah, and it'll be in the town right away, so we need to have some kind of language that we have on file that we will not be responsible. That'll be theirs all the way to the manhole structure.
That's what I was telling them. The health department's the one that actually contacted me. They were trying to work something out
Will it be necessary to do a road cut?
for it.
Or just will it?
Unless Tipton County wants to let them road cut it. I mean, that'll be up to Tipton, that'll be their road, their responsibility, that's what I told them. If Tipton wants them to open trench it on county line, that'll be for them to deal with. I mean, if it's their road, it's Tipton's road, so it won't be, you know.
I don't see that
for us. I told them, I told,
Not.
I don't think they'll let them open cut that.
yeah, I don't either, and I mean, Kip's, he's talked with Jerry at Daystar. I mean, his thing was to bore that. There's no, I told him they just need to check for gas, but I think it's on county line. They'll just, basically off county line, they'll cross two utilities. They'll cross water and, not yet, it's not over yet, but they'll cross water and a gas line. Things whatsoever. On that side, on that west side of Broadway, we have nothing till you get to that alley, and that's where the sanitary's at. But I told the health department, you know, we're not going to incur any costs for anything. I mean, they'll pay the tap fee and then all associated, you know, fees to get it to us. They call them today. Under streets, we've been repairing and replacing street signs. We repaired the stabilizer pin on the backhoe, and we're going to have to replace the hydraulic cooler on the tractor. And I got to check some parts, but as far cheapest price I found right now, it's $1,200, and that's with us putting it in. Reynolds wants $1,800 to put that thing in, and it's been leaking for about a year now. It started with a drip. But basically, it's got fin rot. I mean, when I say cooler, it's as big as a radiator on backhoe. I mean, it's like 6 rows deep, but it's not going to last much longer, so I want to make you aware of that. And then I've talked to Amy Miller about a grant to demolish Carl Kane's house, and this year's grants are over, but she's going to get the information for us together to apply for next year, so that we can have it for the first of the year, or coming into spring. She says they're pretty easy to get. I know Arcadia's got one for a house, and she said, you know, we've got the need, and that it shouldn't be any big deal to get that, to pay for that. Then under miscellaneous, the new no parking signs have been put up at Ball Diamond to replace the faded ones. We brought the mower from the Ball Diamond to the town garage and started to work on it. I just want to let you know, depending on what you want to do, it's going to need several $100s worth of repairs for that thing to be viable, you know, for us to use. I had Kurt on that. I mean, we spent over an hour on the pressure washer just cleaning this thing off. Both the front tires are junk. The rim's bent on it. Not everything on it is bent or dented. It needs full service, needs all the filters, oil, hydraulic fluid changed, hydraulic filters, everything. I mean, all the fluids in it are just blacker than a mine shaft. And I'm going to see, I just thought about it here after I left today. I may have a set of wheels and tires for the front of that. I took new ones off my mower and put solid tires on it. And if they'll fit, I'm just going to donate those to it. And that was going to be the most expensive thing, because wheel assemblies were about $140 a piece for a rim and a tire. But they don't hold there. And like I said, the one's got a huge, I don't know what they hit, but it's got a huge dent in the rim. Which leads me to my next thing. I need the council to appropriate funds for the ball diamond so we can develop some kind of plan of action down there. What you want to do, at what pace you want to do this stuff. We started.
Would it be feasible, I don't know much about the ball diamond, but what would it cost to have somebody just to maintain that yard down there?
Not in our
as
budget.
opposed to,
It's over 5 acres. I mean, it'd probably cost us $400 or $500 a week to have somebody.
is it that much?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know,
I mean, even if you got someone to do it for $65 or $75 an acre, just figure that up. Then there's about 2 miles of fence to weed eat around, and it's just not in our budget. I mean, we were down there. We started today cleaning up grass clipping stuff and mowing, and I'm hoping the wind dies down tomorrow. I mean, just everything in sight needs sprayed. And once we get all the fence rows cut back, there's mulberry trees growing out of them things. I mean, once we get all that stuff cut back, I'm going to spray all the fence rows to help, speed it up. But in around the bleachers, I mean, there's just so much growing under. I'm going to take the tractor down and just move the bleachers out of the way to get under them. I mean, there's, the Canadian thistle's about this high under all the bleachers already. And everything's just growing like crazy. But
when you say it takes a couple $100 to get the mower in a working condition, what do you mean? I mean, I heard the mower is shot.
It's not shot. I mean, it's a commercial
Pretty
mower,
much.
but I mean,
How many hours is on the thing? I mean,
266. I mean, you're talking about an $8,000 mower
Yeah.
with 266 hours on it, but it needs two front. The back tires can go for a while. I don't like the tires that are on it. You just got to be slow because they're so aggressive, but they're okay. But front tires are shot. They're dry rotted. They were torn. When we pulled the mower out, the front tires were torn completely off the rims. So we had to put the tires back on the rims, try to get them aired up, clean the rims off. They're all rusted and, like I said, dented up. Got that done. We got the thing to start. But like I said, I mean, they got 2 air filters on them. They got a spin-on oil filter, just like a car. It's a pressurized system. You got the oil. You got 2 hydraulic filters and everything associated with the hydraulic drive motors on each wheel, spark plugs, just all that stuff. I mean, it's
that Kawasaki engine.
Yeah, it's a 27 horse Kawasaki. I mean, there's probably, just roughly, I just did mine. I mean, just in filters and oil and the plugs and all that stuff, it's over $100. I mean, I just serviced my mower this year, and it's a 27. Mine's liquid cooled versus air cooled, but with 3,
Yeah, I know
it's got 3 filters on it. I mean, I don't think it's a bad mower. It's going to need a set of blades. The blades are destroyed on it. So, but by the time you buy a set of blades, and the belts don't look too bad on it.
It's a lot cheaper than a $7,000 or $8,000 mower we can't afford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's just,
And it's not as big as you think. It's only 50-inch deck on it. There's areas down there that are small, so if we had both mowers going, ours is 72. You get the field under control, get it caught up, get everything, to a manageable level. We can mow some serious grass with, 2 mowers, but it's just getting it up to that point. So the battery tray on that one too, the battery tray's all torn up on it. I don't know what happened to it. They drove over and hit something, but they had to get them out for that. It's like a bungee cord in there now, holding the battery in. Well, the battery bounces around and shorts out on the deck where you set your feet. If you hit a bump, you can hear it. I was like, man, what is this thing? Then I forgot that, Dixie chopper, it's underneath the foot thing instead of behind the seat. And I took it off, and the little cap that covers the battery to protect it was all bent off, and you can see where that thing's been shorting out. So, it's a good mower, just needs some work, it's just beat up.
What kind of funds do we have available that we can put towards that, Robin?
Are you just talking about the mower?
Now the mower and some to do some repairs down there too. We need to consider.
Well, that's why, if we get done in time tonight here, I'd like you guys to come down there so you can see what I'm dealing with. I can tell you this, Nothing was winterized, all the toilets are all frozen broke, I mean busted, junk, so you're talking new toilets everywhere.
Andy, I can't hear you. Could you?
I said, I went with council to come down and look at it, I said, nothing was winterized, so all the toilets are frozen broke, so we're talking all new toilets. It's just, the list down there is absolutely endless. I mean, there is a lot of work. I don't care if we have 100% volunteers, even just material-wise. That place needs some serious help. It's just.
I don't know what he means by serious. I don't know how many thousands of dollars he's talking.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just being realistic here.
What kind of money?
We can, I mean, I don't wanna use the festival fund for everything.
Right.
We could use the festival fund for some of it. We've got the rainy day fund, which still has 7,300 in there. The only thing is we never add to our rainy day fund. We've still got CCI, which I have not transferred into the general fund. I was wanting to hopefully put that in the rainy day fund. So there's about 5,700 in there.
So could
I
we-
just,
would
my
we-
thing is, I guess I'm starting to panic if I'm thinking, I mean, yes, we need to put some money into it and get it in shape, but can we afford to, we don't wanna run a ball diamond, right? I mean, we don't want
We
to.
can't, and that's the thing, I don't wanna run it, but we gotta get it up to par where we can get someone else
Where they
that's
can
interested in
play.
it that would contract with us to maintain it, or mow it, or, you know, or release it, or rent the property out to some organization or
Yeah.
group,
Did they turn in
and try to
any
get some income back coming in, but
Yeah, they ain't done fundraising
initially,
for
we gotta come
years.
up with some money to get it into that shape.
That's what I
Do
think.
you-
No,
do
they
you have
didn't
any-
hand over any of the
How much do you feel
money
comfortable that
reports.
you know, out of some of them accounts that, you know, I mean,
It's a private
you
organization.
know where we're at with a lot of those funds, and some, you know, that we use,
Yeah.
that would
I'm not
be
saying that.
No, I
more
know.
available than
I
others,
just-
is what I'm getting
I've
at.
got
And,
money reports from back in '82, so don't tell me.
we
what
don't have to
we
fix
can't do,
everything
we
all
couldn't
at
do.
once,
Well,
just
I'm sure they have, but I'm just saying.
get
This,
what we can fix it.
they have, I mean, just their insurance
Well, I
and
don't know
utilities.
how much money in general.
They have-
I
they
know
do-
we're not
they have
gonna
fundraising for
itemize
3
each
years.
one, but
I don't
how
wanna
much
say.
are we talking about? Are we talking about 2,500?
Yeah, we know.
I think we need to put a list up and ask anybody that wants to.
You just want,
volunteer.
you just want to put a list
Every
together?
time you
Find
tell
one.
us.
Okay, you just want to have this, put a list together, and then he can get some estimates and come back, and then we can figure out where we're gonna get the funds.
Exactly.
There.
Okay, let's do that, Andy. Get a list of, we'll get down there and get a list of all the stuff that's damaged, needs repaired as far as material wise and things that we need to purchase, and then we'll get
I'm
an
just,
estimate.
I'm letting you know,
on-
I can see about 10 grand getting spent down there pretty easy. And I'm not, you know, and I'm not even counting.
Well,
Our labor.
in November, we can go for the Neighborhood Now grant, and they could, I mean.
How about getting us a list together and we can do it, we'll prioritize that, and then we'll just pick some names off the list that we want to work on, or that we feel needs to be done in order to get somebody able to use it.
Right now, I'm trying to get the
Restrooms
grounds,
and
the grounds
concession
under
stand.
control.
Right.
Just round up everything.
Trying to get everything sprayed, because we need to try and make the fields,
That turf's awful
weeds
expensive.
everywhere. And get it mowed, get it cut down, and get it
Looking nice.
Andy,
maintained.
can I get an estimate on it, having it sprayed and have somebody else spray it? And I pay for it?
Yeah, you can, I mean, we were gonna spray it, but if you wanna spray it,
I'm not gonna spray it, but I know a guy that probably I can get to do it.
that's fine, I mean, I was gonna spray it,
So
but
is that okay?
I got.
There's a lot of spraying to do down there at the parking lots and the fence rows and,
I'm
you
gonna
know,
spray
the
the-
bleachers, and it's a lot.
I'll call him and see what he says.
What's we need to
It
get
has to be done,
something
and
on
I'm
Yeah.
not ready to give up, so.
Yeah, it's,
Maybe we could get donations too, like, not necessarily, money, but supplies. We spend a lot of money at Lowe's and Menards and Tractor Supply, maybe we could get donations for materials.
let's start with a list and go from there and
All I
see
have
what we
was any
think.
questions. We're gonna do my building report, I forgot that. Hunter Building issued one stop work order, had 2 inspections, 1 building permit inquiry, the April census report has been completed, and then we have to update our 1 and 2 family residential building ordinance to reflect current state standards. And this is gonna allow us to have an ISO rating of 6. If we don't, our rating's gonna drop to 9. Our current one has been updated since 2006, and I know Aaron's working on that. Forwarded him the email I got from ISO.
When is the deadline on having that completed in order to get that 6 rating?
She's supposed to try to get it done as soon as possible. I mean, I told her we had this meeting coming up here. I mean, I would like to get it done by our next meeting. They want it pretty quickly.
Okay. We definitely want to get that 6 rating instead of a 9. Helps everybody with their insurance rates.
So, it would help us out quite a bit.
Anything else, Andy? Thank you. Move on to old business. Tom Schupert's here tonight for Triad Associates.
I just came more than anything else was to see if there's any problems with the cable thing, and then also to report as far as our getting our contractor started on the wastewater plant. They're anticipating May 20th now would be the start date, but they actually have crews in here on the plant side of it. And then on the sewer side, I talked to them again. They've done some televising, and they're going to come back and do some more. They still have some more to do, so they'll be back here in the next week or so.
Yeah, our phone can wait project. I mean, they're shut down. I mean, I guess we'll have this meeting tomorrow, but we got to figure out what we want to tell them, what we want to do. I mean, I think we need to get sets of plans from them so we can have Triad review them and make recommendations on it. So this stuff's going to be moved. You know, I still don't understand why they can't go shallower. See, I like to see what, huh?
36. Or 18.
About 18. 18 to 24, because I mean, my thing is, I don't understand why we can't, why they can't pretty much, I mean, they can pretty much trench most of this. If, you know, do a bore at the roads instead of these long runs, because they're not, you know, they're not staying very even. And they keep wanting to run everything at 4 feet, and like, you know, 95% of the water mains in this town are at 4 feet.
I think they might do that because on the longer bores, when they pump that hydraulic mud through there to do that, if it's at 18 inches, it wants to blow out.
No, I know, they've already said that. That's why I
part of
told them to trench it.
Okay. But I also noticed, you were talking, on top of the water main, but they're also, like on the central, they're on top of the gas main too, on that east side.
Well, they're actually running on our water main.
Moved over it.
Yeah.
The gas main's right on the edge of pavement, isn't it?
Well, the water is part of it. It runs crooked. There's not a lot of water main on Central. The section they're on, it runs crooked to that gas main, and they hooked a saddle tap in the service line the week before last, so I saw it dug up. And that's what makes me nervous, is because that's a 6-inch AC line going there, basically from Main Street to Kaufman, and it makes that turn and heads west. They're so close to it, you know, I mean, I'm worried that they have weakened our water main. Is, you know, 3 years from now, is that thing going to crack, come apart? Because, I mean, where I saw it dug up, it could have been more than 2 inches away from the water.
Well, and with hydraulic mud, they're putting pressure on the line too.
So, I mean, most of their plans, and I've asked, you know, trying to get to this point, most of their plans, they're, you know, especially in the alleys, our water and sewer are pretty much ran together on one side or the other, which doesn't meet our current standards, but it leaves the other side of the alley wide open. And they just refuse, and when I question them about, the engineer, well, that's how the engineer drew it. And I'm like, well, this sucks. I'm like, I don't care. Well, you see why he doesn't work here anymore. And it's like, okay, so you're admitting the plan is crap, but you don't want to change it, so you're just going to throw it in. And every time I've asked something, I don't know how much the phone company knows, how much they don't know. We'll find that out tomorrow. But every time I ask those guys to do something, they say yes and then turn around and do whatever they want. You know, four water hits in one day. I mean, who's ever heard of such a thing? You know, it's just ridiculous. And the same idiot did 3 of them, and I said, you can't dig these up this way. So he goes down about 3 houses, does it again.
Anyway.
Goes down about 3 more houses, does it again.
And then laugh.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They were laughing.
Yeah, they were standing on the side of the road laughing, and I was like,
They think
what's
it's
the deal?
they think it's funny. I come up with a plan. I think repairs ought to be $1,000 an inch. So 3/4 and 1 inch lines, when you guys chop them in two, it's $1,000.
Well, I think we need to do, I mean, if they're not gonna listen and they're not gonna cooperate, I think that we need to charge them just like gas company does, and they charge for loss of the service plus the labor, material and everything to come out and repair those, and manpower. And, when he called me and told me they hit 4 in one day, that's just totally ridiculous. So, that's unacceptable. I've never, I've been doing this stuff for 30-some years, and I've never, ever had that kind of thing go on. When you talk to a contractor and you just discuss what's causing the issue, you get some cooperation out of most contractors, but these guys just don't seem
They
to
don't
care.
care.
And, I've dealt with a lot of contractors, and I know their thing is they get in and get out as fast as they can because that's how they make their money. They don't care, and if they're tearing somebody else's utility up, so be it. Theirs is in the ground and out of the way, so you fix yours around theirs. And the flip side of this here that Andy's talking about, they're putting that in right on top of his water main, and then later on down the road, he has a water main project, he's got to dig and work around a tile or a cable laying right on top of his main where he won't even be able to get a fitting around his own tile or his water main or anything to put a repair clamp on to fix the problem in the future. And just like he's saying, there's no reason when the other side of the alley or whatever is wide open that they don't run over there.
Well, talking about alleys, that's another issue I have, because they came to me, wanted me to tell them where the alley was. I told them, you need to do what we do. You need to call a surveyor. You don't know where it's at, but I know they are running they're running stuff on people's private property and people don't even know it. I mean, there are areas, they know ifs, ands, or buts, I know for a fact. And I know where one is because I know where the survey, or I know where the pins are at, I know where the alley's at. And they are running outside, they are running utilities on people's private property, which they can't do. And they just don't care. That is what kills me.
Are you gonna be at this meeting, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with all the state statutes and everything governing?
Not all of them, but there's-
I mean, a
they're
lot of them
pretty
that they're,
Indian.
There's pretty, we cannot deny them access.
right.
However, we can dictate where they are. We can require a bond, and, which we need to make sure they post a bond. And then if they're doing damage to the utilities, they have to repair them. And those areas that they put their cable on top of our utility, they have to remove it. Because that's not allowed.
Okay.
Well, it's a lot of areas. I mean, that's the whole thing. It is. I mean, I don't know for
It's all
sure.
down central. and-
We'd have to look at it on a case by case basis, but
Right.
I mean, like, I bet you 40 or 50% what they've already put in the ground is already on top of our utilities. I mean, at least.
Yeah.
And
Pull it back out.
Especially
and I don't.
Or abandon it or pull it out.
The other thing that's an issue is, which I put in some of my reports, are these locate tickets. I mean, I just spent $600 on paint. Okay? I mean, some of these locates we do, it takes 2 cases of paint to do 1 locate. That's how big they are. Then they don't do a lick of work. The locate expires, it rains, it's water-based paint, and I'm back here marking it for the 3rd, the 4th time. And, not only, there just ain't enough hours in my day. I can't even do my job. I mean, I'm getting frustrated here because I can't do my job. All I do is chase these idiots around, either doing locates or fixing stuff they tear up. I mean, I'm worn out on it, and we're throwing, we have spent about $4,000 or $5,000 in parts, just throwing them in the ground, fixing this stuff.
I go ahead and get that put
Including
together
mannequins.
because I think the town should build it.
We can't survive this project. And they've probably only done about 10% of what they're gonna do in town. That's what scares me.
Are we dealing mostly with the site supervisor?
Oh, I am,
Or
yeah,
are
I'm dealing with
Or are we
everybody.
dealing with the big boys down there?
Both. I've called down there, I have talked with the guys here. The only
So
thing,
they're aware
the only
of it.
thing that got their attention was, you're done working. Roll it up and get out of town.
Okay.
That's the only thing that has got their attention.
Stop.
Because part of my problem is, they don't understand, if I haven't dug it up, if I haven't helped somebody that worked here in the past, or I just haven't been going by when someone in the town had something dug up. You know, this stuff is put in the ground before I was born, you know? So it's a difficult situation, and that's why I'm saying if we know everything's right here, they need to go over here, you know?
Especially
Well,
with the non-metallic pipe, it's hard to trace that pipe out.
It is, and you know, we're short on valves. I usually spend a bunch of time going around digging up old valve boxes, trying to find them so I can get some
Isolate something.
line of sight. The sewer's a whole lot easier. And I'll tell you, you know, I got concerns about the sewer and the sewer laterals. They hit one completely for sure that caused a problem. But, you know, my question is how many sewer laterals have they dinged that we're not gonna know about until it's full of tree roots and someone's toilet will flush? It's, and you know, I gotta make a call tomorrow, but I've heard they're getting ready to, if they haven't already, that Tipton County was getting ready to shut them down because they had a bunch of problems coming out of them.
Really?
The highway department. And, you know, the thing that broke it with me, that tore it with me, well, two things really. One, the last break of the day, last Thursday, I was on the water main that got broke on this end of town. They chopped another service line into down there. Supervisor calls me, and I'm like, man, you gotta do something. So I was gonna go down there and pinch it off. He goes, well, they're digging it up. He goes, I'll pinch it off, okay? Well, they realized that's more work than they thought it was gonna be, or harder to do. So they let that service line leak for an hour and a half down there. Didn't tell me, just threw the tool on the ground. So basically, we got to go down there and dig out this gigantic swamp that when you step down in the hole, you sunk up to your knees because the ground was just totally flooded. And these guys all packed up their shit and went home. And it's, you know, 6:30 at night, and we're out there dealing with the mess. And then the other one that really tore it with me was over on Central when they hooked that saddle tap. They were supposed to have that thing dug up. Supervisor told me they were digging it up. He's going to have people there. But he didn't. He had two guys there, no equipment, no nothing. And I said, you know, Ryan said, you guys, you know, they were going to have this up. They bring that excavator over here or what? You know, or otherwise, I might have to walk back and get my tractor. And he's like, well, he's not coming over here. That's all we said. And they go, oh, you're going to learn. He said, he'll tell you what you want to hear, but that ain't how it's going to be. And I said, well, it's how it's going to be here. I said, and he told me, he said, they don't care. He said, they don't care what you think. I said, they're going to care. You know, and like they said, you know, Robin's got calls when they broke water main. They were standing out there laughing in the street, and someone came out and asked when they were going to fix their yard, and they told them that's not their problem. You know, after they're tearing someone's yard up when they're not even supposed to be running in their yard. They're supposed to be running in the alley. You know, and they're out there digging up someone's yard, running lines through someone's yard where they're not even supposed to be.
Cut the road.
And you know, the road cut, there's another one over by Baker's house. I specifically told them not to cut Central Street. I said, you cut this driveway. So they're gonna be mad. I said, I don't care if they're mad. It's on town property. I said, that driveway's about 3 inches thick. The street's a foot thick. The street's heavily traveled. I said, I do not want this road cut. They said, okay. I left. They cut the road. Go over and look. I took pictures of it today. Then they just took all the asphalt, piled it right beside the road. They cut the road, dug it out, and there's a pile of asphalt laying there. They put pea gravel in it and threw one little bag of coal patch on it. It's already getting all rutted out. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm frustrated beyond belief. They do not listen. They sit there and say, oh yeah, we'll do that, yes, yes, yes. And then they just do whatever they want.
Depending upon the outcome of the meeting tomorrow and how much attention we give from them, and we also have access to the IURC. And I think we can file a complaint with IURC on it.
Yeah, they're regulated by it, and
They are regulated.
And I don't want, you know, I don't want it to be this big battle, but, I mean, they're just destroying the town, these alleys, you know. I think they need, one, I think they need to survey them. Two, we need to have something in place because they're running all these huge trucks up down there, and all this water they're using, it's just destroying the alleys. I mean, especially, you look at that alley where we got the most breaks on that hit, which is between Central and Indiana. Basically from Walton Street all the way down. And, well, they made it down to Jackson right now, but yeah, that alley is destroyed. You know, driving up, they don't think anything about it. It's everything that gets me. It's wet out there, they're doing all this work. If they're parked here, they'll just drive whatever right through someone's yard and rut their yard. You know, they won't move their truck or go around the block to get access from the other end. They just modoc right through your yard, and it's just too bad for you. You know, and I understand construction projects, and I understand things happen, and you're working, and things get torn up, and they get fixed, but you know, they have not fixed. I can take you from all the way back to before winter, last fall. They have not fixed one thing they have torn up. Not one.
Was there any type of pre-construction meeting or anything, Andy? Before the
No, we
project
had
started?
one little brief meeting over here. They said something to me because they were asking me about water, and I told them at that meeting, I said, don't go 4 feet deep. I said, yeah, all the water's 4 feet deep. I said, don't go 4 feet deep. That's exactly, well, that's where they like to drill. I'm like, I don't care where they like to drill. And then, you know, we were supposed to get plans ahead of time, which we never got.
I don't think we have it yet.
No, and that's one of the things I want to tell these guys tomorrow. You know, we want to set plans. You know, they had that engineer here for a year, through that whole summer that was doing all this work. He's gone, but you know, we were supposed to have plans. They were supposed to get reviewed to see if there's conflicts or what was going on. And I mean, it's just none of it's happening. You know what I mean?
How long can this stop work order
It can
be in
stay.
place?
It can stay in place until they comply.
Okay.
And
That's really the only leverage at this point.
well, I talked with Andy last week about it, and we can leave it in place until they're in compliance. And he's got plenty of grounds for it. 'Cause they're not complying, and if they try to ignore it, we can go and get a court order and deal with them because they've not followed state statute, they haven't followed local ordinance, and they're destroying property, and they're liable for all of that.
You know, it's the little things. I'm to the point, everything just irritates me. I just went to Todd Gully and Stain, dug the meter pit out because I was taking pictures down the alley and noticed. I told him, I said, when you're doing something and you supposed to backfill an area, don't cover the meter pit. They bury every one of them. You know, it's like, it's marked, you know where it's at, you're just lazy. It's just laziness. They just don't care. You know, it's like running and gun. I feel like
Kids
dumping, you
doing
know? It's like asking the phone company, how would you guys like if we do our water truck, or our water project, we hire a couple of cowboys to come in here and do this, and they just chop all your phone lines up and say, too bad. Fix it.
No, we'd be getting a bill, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would be right now.
We'd be getting a bill.
Well, I think we need to have this meeting tomorrow, and we need to stand firm on the ordinances and the statutes that they're in violation of, and get an idea of how much damage they have done, and let them know, and either present the bill or let them know that they're gonna be getting one if they don't wanna cooperate and comply.
You know, the other ones I haven't tracked and I weren't as big, but the day with 4 hits, I had so much going on, I went and shut the water plant off. And shut the valve off and completely shut it down. So I knew where we were running off, you know, tower and our average daily usage and everything. I mean, we lost 20,000 gallons of water that day. You know? And I don't even know if people know about it, think about it. I mean, hopefully there was no damage, but, you know, over there where Mark used to live, yeah, that whole valley was just flooding right under their house. I mean, that thing was cooking. That was a 3-inch water line chopped in half. And I mean, I'm telling you, it was moving some water.
Are they, for their water tank, for their hydraulic mud thing, are they buying water from us?
Oh yeah, that's a whole other thing. You know, that's a whole other story. Here you go.
Another
Here, I
issue.
might as well just go ahead and tell you.
Well, just talk about it tomorrow.
They wanted to buy water off of us, got an account set up with Robin. I told them, here, first of all, I was bringing the meter. Then that was an issue. I said, all right. I said, here's the deal. I said, I'll loan you the meter. We're gonna keep track of it and do that. Well, then they started leaving it on the hydrant, and this was even going into winter last year. I said, you can't leave this thing on the hydrant with a wrench. You know, well, plus vandalism, kids around here. I said, I don't want it. So they'd leave it on there, and I'd take it. Now they get to the point, they call me, where's my meter? I'm like, well, it's not your meter, it's my meter, and I took it off because you left it. They just did it last Friday. They called because they're still working outside of town, even though we shut them down. Wanted the meter. I told them, do not leave this on here. 5:30, I go over there and check it last night.
That's it.
Right there it is, it's on. I shut it off, and I told the guy today, and it depends on who you talk to, but the guy I told today, I said, I'm telling you for the last time, I said, you guys leave this on the meter, you leave this meter on this hydrant again, and you are done. You know, we don't have to sell them water. You know, they can drive to Noblesville or Tipton, Cicero, somewhere else. But, you know, we've caught them, Murray's caught them, I've caught them filling without the meter. That one pisses me off. And I'm like, don't be filling without the meter.
That's theft at that point.
It is theft, but I'm telling you, they just don't care.
They don't.
We just need to have this meeting tomorrow, make it perfectly clear where we stand, what's gonna happen if they don't comply, and that'll be that. And just shut the whole thing down and be done.
It's just,
Is the meeting still on at 10?
Yeah.
Is there a bond limit that can be set, Aaron, or is there something in that?
I have to double check
I
that.
don't know what, whether, if there's a stipulated sum. or-
Yeah.
There has to be.
Normally it's based off the project, but I have to double check, especially with phones and stuff. They've been amending those statutes on a pretty regular basis. I'd say I can get an answer. I'd say we ask for the maximum bond.
well,
Given their performance at this point.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm trying to keep an open mind about this. I'm hoping the phone company will crack down. It's their contractor.
Absolutely.
That this is just some out of control issue. I mean, I think when it's done, it'll be a good thing, but the way it's going in right now, it's gonna be horrible for us.
Well, and removing everything that's been put in.
It's horrible
I think
for
that's
them,
very
too.
important.
Yeah.
I do
So,
too.
It's on top of our water lines.
Money's
Because,
down the drain.
You know, Vandy, I mean, the next person, I mean, that comes in here,
Right.
and, you know, future.
They're gonna be in trouble.
And we're here to represent the town and the community and the residents here, not for a business to come in and do whatever they want to make profit and money off the customers. So we gotta look out for the residents and the best interest of the community, so. I said we have that meeting, just
Well, I'll
put
tell
our
you
foot
what.
down and tell them the way it is, and that's gonna be that.
Drive down the alley
And
by
we'll
the
just
water.
keep the stop work order in place until they decide to comply.
For those that haven't, drive down the alley by the water tower.
Well,
Cause
I've
I asked them
seen,
to stop. They have rutted that thing up so bad, you can't even mow it with the mower anymore by the water tower. You know, and I told them, I said, if you guys can't turn the corner and fill out in the street, run 2 or 3 hoses out here to fill. You know, I mean,
Well, they came in 10, 15 feet on my property in order to put a line in there.
I said something to them
And
about that.
I wouldn't have a problem with it if they just at least have the
Now
decency to knock on the door, and
Now that you
they
brought
didn't
that
even
up,
do that.
that's another thing I
and they
want.
marred my yard, tore up my wife's piney peonies.
I want a form, and we want to tell them, if you are setting equipment up on someone's property, I want a form filled out that's got the name, address, the work being done, and the signature of the property owner. Because everybody thinks this is our problem, and that the town is tearing, everybody I talk to thinks the town is tearing everything up. And I keep telling them, it's not us, it's the phone company. You know, we're trying to do something here, we're trying to get this under control.
I had 2 phone calls related to the water leaks. One of, text messaging back and forth, but, they wanted to know what was going on with the water, and why these guys couldn't do nothing right. And I said, well, it ain't our guys. I said it happens to be the phone company that's doing the work, and they're the ones hitting the lines. I said, our guys are having to fix them. And I never got a reply back after I told them that it wasn't our guys and it was the phone company. So, that's the kind of, things that people think is just automatically the town's project. So we're gonna get the blame, and we're going to be the ones that's gonna be getting the phone calls on all the damage to the properties and the yards and everything, even after they're gone, if we don't deal with it. So we just gotta make it
It's frustrating
right.
when the water line breaks and then it's gotta be shut off, and people are like, how come we don't have water?
Well, I mean, like, Andy ain't got enough to do already without having to go around falling behind him fixing water mains.
And these kids were standing there on the road laughing
That's the 2 different locations.
with their shovel
That's the
in their hand, standing there just laughing, watching Andy trying to fix the water line in the alley. It was,
Well, it's Endeavor's project, and they're contractors, so I think that we need to get the point across to Endeavor, and then they can either deal with their contractor in some manner or another, or else get a new contractor to come in and finish the project, whatever they feel necessary to get it done and done right.
I don't know if that's something we can dictate. I mean, we can't dictate who they use.
No.
But we can certainly say you can't use that contractor here, I think.
well, you can also hand them a bill
It's not
too.
acceptable. work practices aren't
Well,
acceptable.
we may not be able to tell them they can't use that contractor, but we can keep a stop work order them to where
Yeah.
they can't go get no work done until
Yeah.
they do. So it'd be one or the other. They either want to finish their project and get a contractor that is acceptable, they'll do, decent work, or else they just won't be able to work here due to the stop work order from not complying. So one or the other. I don't have a bit of problem.
Aaron, are you planning on attending in the morning?
I can't.
I can't. I'm already in a different meeting, but I told Andy that if he calls and something comes up, call me,
Okay,
and I'll have my cell phone and I'll step out of the meeting
okay.
to take the call.
I'm sure you have most of this in writing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, I took, I don't know if I think I'm gonna edit the list and get some of the worst pictures. I went around and took, I don't know how many pictures I took today, probably 30 or 40 pictures. I'm gonna, pick out 5 or 6 to print out and tell them, I got a big stack behind this. But, and not that it has anything with us, but it just shows you the way people think. It's like even the road out to the sewer plant. I got people out there complaining to me about that out there. I'm like, I said, call the phone company, call the phone company, because it's their problem, it's not ours. Just everybody automatically thinks it's the town.
And this might be something that Endeavor's not even aware of, and this meeting may resolve the
I
whole
hope
issue
so.
right there.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, I'd hope that Endeavor wouldn't, I'd hope Endeavor wouldn't do this, being that they wanna, have their service in this
Well, I gotta
community.
call them.
They want customers to be buying their service when they're done.
Well, I want it, but I don't want them putting it under my ground when they'll be going by gas lines, water lines, sewer lines. Just what I need.
We can turn your landscaping hopefully.
Well, glad to have Murray with us this evening. How's it going?
It's going.
Is it?
I finished my class on Friday. They're doing clinicals this week. I've got a week of clinicals and then state testing next week. So I will be an EMT by the end of next week, and we'll begin fire training at that point.
Fantastic.
Good deal.
The EMT class was pretty. It was an accelerated course, so I haven't been around that much. But I am planning to go out this Saturday and address some issues that I've noticed over this last weekend. Most of the time, the only time I walk around town is at night, so I don't get to see it, but I walked around town over the weekend during the day, so noticed some things.
Sure.
But, and then going forward, I should be able to make it a lot more regular, so.
What about golf cart permits? We have people asking.
Yeah, I
Just
can
take
do
their
this.
number and then you can
Yeah,
call them and do it on
yeah,
your
that'd be
time.
great. I appreciate that.
All right, we have an ordinance this evening, another piece of old business. We need to read this, Aaron?
You don't have to read it aloud. I mean, you can just read it by title.
No, this is the
Oh,
fire territory,
Yeah.
5-member board. This is an ordinance of the town of Atlanta, Hamilton County, Indiana, amending an interlocal cooperation agreement with Jackson Township of Hamilton County, Indiana, and the town of Arcadia, Indiana. Basically, what this ordinance will do is they'll go from a current 3-member board to a 5-member board on the Jackson Fire Territory Board. So, you guys had a chance to read over this? Do I hear a motion that we accept this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to accept this ordinance 05-2-2015-1.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Two originals here.
Okay.
It's my understanding this will be voted on this week by Jackson Township and Monday by Arcadia, and upon passage by the third of the three will become effective.